It's the first year for the Bridge Challenge Cup. We have the under-23 Development 8, Leander and Hartpury, the British Development 8, and the Cambridge University crew. Cambridge on the right and the Leander and Hartpury crew on the left.
Another example of Cambridge just bringing the best of their boat race squads to bear here on the Henley stretch. They're getting into a bit of a rhythm now. Cambridge University are bringing those athletes from their April sort of peak to the Henley course to try and contest for major honours, and just striding out here to a little bit of a lead ahead of this Leander and Hartpury University composite in the opening phase.
Yeah, credit to Cambridge. You know, these athletes trained so hard for that peak in April, the boat race, which Cambridge were so successful in this year, and then to sustain that training to be able to be competitive at Henley, well, that's a real challenge for them. It looks like the under-23 development crew in front of us here in the yellow boat, they've just started to squeeze through the Cambridge crew as we come to this live shot here, and still overlapping though, which gives Cambridge a chance, but the under-23s will be reasonably happy that they've got to this position as they approach the halfway mark in this course.
Well, Matt, it's almost a reversal of fortunes to the contest we saw just before the tea break in the Ladies' Challenge Plate, the male equivalent of this Intermediate 8s event, where the under-23 crew just looked like they were struggling to find their rhythm. They hadn't spent enough time in the boat together and were overturned by a really powerful Oxford Brookes crew. But this Leander Hartpury University composite seemed to have a bit more horsepower on board than this Cambridge boat.
Yeah, this is Leander Hartpury first row down the track. Actually, got a bye in this round, whereas the Cambridge crew dispatched Brooks B yesterday. Also on board Cambridge, of course, we have the champion rower, Imogen Grant, sorry Imogen, the doctor who raced this morning, was knocked out this morning in the single sculls event, the Princess Royal, by Senkuta, the Lithuanian sculler. But Cambridge, despite the energy expended by the doctor, the medics and other students on board, well, they managed to get back on some terms now.
Absolutely. They've not let this composite row away from them, the GB under-23 provisional crew. Cambridge clinging on here. We know what fierce racers they are. Paddy Ryan developed such a strong culture there, and it will now be down to Imogen Grant, I guess, in that 7-seat, a leader in that crew, backed up by Claire Collins in the 6-seat to find a little bit extra in the closing stages.
I'm so excited by the way Cambridge have responded here. Credit also to coach Matilda Horn, who's part of the system there and a big part that she's played. Having somebody like Imogen on board in your crew does lift you, but there's a huge amount of caliber and experience in the centre, the Americans in the centre of that boat for Cambridge, and they're moving. And Leander and Hartpury haven't had so much time together. The Cambridge unit has been forged in the flames of the preparation for and the deployment in the boat race, and now that, I think, is really showing. What a move by Cambridge. They're moving back and back and back.
Yeah, Cambridge is taking more strokes per minute than their counterparts at the moment. You can see there the rate just jacked up by Strokesy in the light blue crew, and it's paying dividends here because they're drawing level with the Leander Hartpury University crew as the crews swing into the enclosures.
A lot of momentum with Cambridge. If you are in the Leander and Hartpury University crew now, maybe some doubt is starting to creep in. Cambridge will look like they were going to be dropping out of sight, and instead of that, you're starting to see your opposite number is almost alongside you, and you've still got several hundred meters of track to go. So the momentum is with the light blue women, and you can almost detect the hunger they have and the belief starting to come through. It's a wonderful culture they have at the CUBC of belief and support and inspiration. And inspiration and perspiration is what it's going to take now for these young women in this first year of the wonderful Bridge Challenge Cup. Everything to play for. Cambridge starting to move through, but Leander and Hartpury are holding them. There's about 20 strokes remaining on this course. Cambridge still rising. Leander and Hartpury have got to respond now.
I don't know what happened at the tea break, Matt, but the two races we've been served out of the back of that have been absolutely phenomenal. I think it is Cambridge who just have that extra level of cohesion in this crew who are going to steal a march on this composite from Leander and Hartpury University.
What an 8s race. From behind, the women of the CUBC, the Cambridge University Boat Club, show you how to race from behind and break open a development crew. They will be so pleased to do that. Fist bumping the water from the bow seat to the stroke seat of the Cambridge crew there. Congratulations, well done, Isabel Grant. She's done some work. My goodness, Imogen Grant, sorry, has done some huge work this week, and great row by Cambridge. And Leander and Hartpury will Well, there's some real pace in that crew too, and an early outing for them, so they'll have learned, if not won. That's what we always say in these races. So well done to Cambridge University, who put their name down for a place in the semis.